Moving on to binomials and trinomials. So we started with multiplying a binomial by a binomial. Now we're going to multiply a binomial by a trinomial. And once again, I'm going to show you the two different methods. We're going to start with the table, and then we're going to do the distributive. So the table, I typically put my longer side vertical and my shorter side horizontal. It doesn't matter. If you want to change it, fine. It doesn't matter. Whether you put the x plus 5 on the top or down the side, that's completely up to you. You're going to get the same answer. But I typically am going to put my x plus 5 and then split this way. And then I'm going to put my x squared and my negative 3x and my negative 2. Make sure you're paying attention to your negatives, people. If you drop those, we have a problem. Okay, multiplying into the table. Look up to the x, look over to the x squared. X times x squared, x cubed. Up to the 5 over to the x squared, 5x squared. Up to the x over to the negative 3x, negative 3x squared. Up to the 5 over to the negative 3x, negative 15x. Up to the x over to the negative 2, negative 2x. Up to the 5 over to the negative 2, negative 10. Now, once again, we're going to just pull everything out of the table. Now, keep in mind, don't pull this and don't pull that. That was part of the problem, not the answer. I've got an x cubed. I've got a positive 5x squared. I've got a negative 3x squared. I've got a negative 15x. I've got a negative 2x. And I've got a negative 10. Just pull it all out. Then you go and combine like terms. So first things first, x cubed. Then I've got the 5x squared minus 3x squared, 2x squared. Then I've got the negative 15x and the negative 2x, negative 17x. And then I've got the minus 10. Make sure your answer is in standard form. The exponents go 3, 2, 1, none. So there we go, that's our final answer. Now, once again, going back to the box, if you want to skip that middle step, you can pull it right out of the table. So, x cubed. And then you've got these two sitting on the diagonal. So 5x squared minus 3x squared is 2x squared. Negative 15x, negative 2x is negative 17x. And then you've got your minus 10. So skipping that middle step, not a big deal. Just make sure you're paying attention and that you're actually grabbing like terms, because most of the time they'll turn out nice like that where they're on the diagonal, but that's not always true. So just pay attention to what you're doing. Distributive property. So x plus 5 times x squared minus 3x minus 2. Now, this time we do not call it FOIL, because FOIL is first, outers, inners, last, meaning there's only like 4 things. Here, you kind of got a first and an outer and an inner and an inner. Like there's just too many. So this is not FOIL. This is just distribute. So distributive, we take the first one and we're going to distribute just like we did before. And we're going to distribute just like we did before. But this time, we have to distribute it a third time. Okay, you just keep going until you get all the terms. So x times x squared is x cubed. X times negative 3x is negative 3x squared. And x times negative 2 is negative 2x. Now, I'm going to take my 5 and do the same thing. So 5 times x squared, and watch what I do here. Are you watching? Is 5x squared. Notice where I wrote that? You should pay attention to that. That's important. And then 5 times negative 3x is negative 15x. And then 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. Now, the reason, does anybody see the reason why I did that? Combine like terms. X cubed drops down. 5x squared minus 3x squared. Now your like terms are already like ready to go. They're already in line. So we've got 2x squared. You've got your negative 15 and your negative 2x, which is negative 17x. And then you've got your negative 10. And if you take a look, same answer. Okay, now once again, for these bigger ones, I really like the table, but in my experience, most of you guys still choose the distributive property. So we're going to do 2 more examples, and I'm going to stick with the distributive property, but I can tell you, I might give you, instead of a binomial times a trinomial, I might give you a trinomial times a trinomial. I might even throw in 4 terms. At that point, use a table. It's so much more organized, it's so much more friendly, and you are so less likely to make a mistake. If I see you repeatedly making mistakes, I'm going to require you to use the table. Okay? So, next example, number 4, we're going to multiply. And like I said, I'm going to use the distributive because that's usually what I see you guys reverting to. But if you like the table, use it. It's great. So 3x, I'm going to distribute first to the 6x squared. So 3x times 6x squared is 18x cubed. Then we're going to take the 3x times the negative 2x, which is negative 6x squared. And 3x times the 4, which is positive 12x. Okay, then I'm going to take my negative 1, start distributing it. Negative 1 times 6x squared is negative 6x squared. Then negative 1 times negative 2x is positive 2x. And then I'm going to have negative 1 times 4, which is negative 4. And again, notice how I wrote those. It's just easier for me. Combine like terms. We're going to drop down our 18x cubed. Then we have a negative 6x squared and a negative 6x squared. This time, they do not cancel. In order to cancel, one has to be positive, one has to be negative. These are both negative, so they add together, negative 12x squared. 12x plus 2x, 14x, minus 4, already in standard form. There's your answer. Okay, that's a binomial times a trinomial. And now we're going to try a binomial times a binomial times a binomial. Think about that for a minute. Maybe pause your video. In order to do this, okay, we don't have a, you don't distribute and distribute and, no. Okay, so let's look at this. 5 times 4 times 3. Well, 5 times 4 is 20. 20 times 3 is 60. The answer is 60. Okay, now 5 times 4 times 3. Do you do this? Well, 5 times 4 is 20, and 5 times 3 is 15. So 20 times 15 is 300, so the answer must be 300. No. Okay, you just multiply the first 2, and once you get the first 2, then you multiply by the 3. That's what you do. So guess what? We're going to do the same thing. We're going to multiply the first 2, and then once we get the first 2, then we're going to multiply by the last 1. So when you're approaching something like this, you can only do 2 at a time. Do not do all 3. Okay, so if we do the first 2, x plus 3 times x minus 2, we're going to distribute x times x squared. X times negative 2, negative 2x. 3 times x, 3x. 3 times negative 2, negative 6. Let's finish out the problem here. Combine like terms. Negative 2x plus 3x is a positive 1x. Keep in mind, I really don't want that coefficient of 1 on there. Get rid of it. Drop down your minus 6, drop down your x squared. So the first 2, we've got an x squared plus x minus 6. X squared plus x minus 6. But just like over here, we then had to drop down the 3. So now I'm going to take this guy, and I'm going to drop him down, and I'm going to choose to drop him down in the front, just because in my mind, I like the shorter one first. you can drop him down in the back. It doesn't matter, except then when you go to distribute, it's going to look a little different, okay? So if you were to do this, x squared plus x minus 6 times x plus 4, that's absolutely fine, except now you're going to distribute 1, 2. And then you're going to distribute 1, 2. And then you're going to distribute 1, 2. You'll get the same answer. If you don't believe me, try it, but you will. Versus over here, I'm going to distribute this first one. Instead of 1, 2, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, which is what we had practiced before. So x times x squared, x cubed, x times x, x squared, x times negative 6, negative 6x. Moving on, 4 times x is, 4 times x squared is 4x squared. 4 times x is positive 4x. And then 4 times negative 6 is negative 24. Combine like terms. Drop down the x cubed. 4x squared plus x squared, 5x squared. Negative 6x plus 4x is negative 2x. Drop down your negative 24. Make sure your answer is in standard form. It is, and we're good to go.